The Kings of London. Hey friends, what's going on? Welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, and I hope you lot are all doing well, dear viewers. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I see what's going around the rags about Chelsea, give you my opinion on it, but more importantly ask for yours. Transfers. The window is still open and there's a lot to talk about. More outgoing players, potential incoming players. You get it all here. Strap yourselves in, get comfortable, consider subscribing if you're new. Hey, only if you want to, dear friend. And let me tell you, this video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. That's right, OneFootball is the only application on your phone that you will ever need, mate. It's totally free and it keeps you locked into the beautiful game in every single way, giving you lineups to all the games, match statistics to all the games, as well as, of course, the results and all the transfer news, absolutely everything. I use it on the regs, you can too. Click the link in the description to go check out OneFootball now and get it for completely free. Hey, it takes a second, just go click that link in the description and be kind to yourself. Alright then, let's get into it. So today we're going to start talking about Zuma, and this was referenced in David Ornstein's column in The Athletic. This story keeps changing all the time, but apparently Chelsea have now agreed terms with West Ham for the transfer of Zuma, but there's a stumbling block in regards to personal terms. Chelsea, of course, still interested in Jules Koundé, and they've got more people going out the door, which we're going to talk about in a moment. And as Eduardo Camavinga is still available on the market, could Chelsea swoop in for the young midfielder? Let's jump in and cite this extract from David Ornstein's article in The Athletic for further context. Chelsea Zuma wants pay bump to join West Ham. A situation to watch closely as the market draws towards an end is that involving Zuma. The 26-year-old Chelsea centre-back has been the subject of a prolonged interest from West Ham United, and The Athletic is told that the clubs now have struck a verbal agreement for the transfer. West Ham are prepared to meet Chelsea's asking price of €30 million, so that part is not the issue. Cool, so for a long time that was seemingly the problem, West Ham not meeting Chelsea's valuation for the French centre-half, but Chelsea, with Marina Granovskaya of course at the helm, seemingly always get their way. The sticking point is the personal terms, with Zuma said by sources to be seeking a significant salary increase from what he was earning at Stamford Bridge to about £125,000 per week. Off the bat, I don't actually think that's crazy. 125k per week. For a senior player now in his prime that has won a lot of stuff and, gets called up to the French squad. Remember, Antonio Rudiger is looking for about 200k a week at Chelsea. So for Zuma, if he's going to be a starting player every week for West Ham, 125k isn't that mental, really. It's what Callum Hudson-Odoi earns at Chelsea. That would make the France defender comfortably the highest paid player in David Moyes' squad, and as things stand, is preventing the proposal of the deal getting over the line. Now that's a bit of a shock. The highest paid player at West Ham. I thought they had loads of money with their owners and they just spend loads of money. I guess I just assumed they'd do that with wages as well. I suppose maybe Felipe Anderson would have been on that more, and now he's gone, maybe? Certainly they would have offered Declan Rice loads more than that, but he's been turning down proposed contracts from West Ham. So, fair enough, I guess. Zuma's preference is to stay in London, and he has also been considered by Tottenham Hotspur. However, West Ham remain the clear favourites and are pushing hard to find an amicable solution. If the former Saint Etienne player does exit Chelsea, it is expected for them to open the door to sign Jules Koundé from Sevilla. Koundé's potential arrival is likely to depend on the fellow Frenchman departing, particularly following the impressive emergence of academy graduate Trevor Chalobah. Zuma made 36 appearances last season, helping Chelsea win the Champions League title. He joined in 2014 and enjoyed successful loan spells with Stoke and Everton. Yeah, interesting. Jules Koundé before the story coming out from The Athletic from the likes of Simon Johnson and co. was Chelsea were going to sign Jules Koundé regardless whether Zuma comes or goes. But now, because, like David Ornstein references in his column there, because of the emergence of Trevor Chalobah, I think Thomas Tuchel feels comfortable with that rotational option, and the Jules Koundé deal coming in is probably now dependent on Zuma going out, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe now this will end the sort of Koundé versus Trevor Chalobah debate, because maybe it's just an extra head in, like have both. Both, you know, can fight for the place. Remember, it's 3 centre-backs. There's nothing wrong with having 6 centre-backs for 3 spots. 2 for each spot, essentially, fighting out for the right to play. I guess, right? That's fine, isn't it? Right then, let's stay on the train of Chelsea defenders and talk about more completed business and more positive news. And that is regarding Davide Zappacosta. Yes, some people say I look like him, but I'd like to think I'm the better looking version. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Chelsea haven't agreed a deal to sell Davide Zappacosta to Serie A side Atalanta, which is probably a good move all round, considering they're an exciting, attacking Champions League team that score lots of goals and use wingbacks as opposed to fullbacks, which is probably more exciting for a fullback. Let's have a look what Fabrizio Romano had to say about the situation. Chelsea will complete Davide Zappacosta's sale to Atalanta. Personal terms also agreed, and he won't be joining Fiorentina. And also Romano references the fact how Zuma and West Ham talks are progressing. No bid from Tottenham for Zuma as of yet. Chelsea just keep doing it, man. Bakayoko nearly to Milan, Batshuayi out there. There's so many. I'll have to do, when the window closes, I'll do a Chelsea news video, if I can remember, and list all the outgoings, because we looked at this really bloated squad that arrived in Ireland for Thomas Tuchel's pre-season camp, and it was just a meme. It was a joke. There were so many players, and people were thinking, how are we going to do this? How are we going to shave all these players off? But they're doing it. Not only are they doing it, they're going to good destinations, not just on loans either, on sales. Obviously, you got Tammy Abraham was sold. Loads of the youth players like Gerhi and the others were sold. Zappacosta is going to be sold. Emerson's got high-profile loan to Lyon. Michy Batshuayi's got a decent loan to Besiktas. Chelsea are doing it. They're shaving off the squad. They've bought in their most needed player in Romelu Lukaku, and there's still potential options for more inclusions, more additional players in this Chelsea squad this transfer window in the coming days before it slams shut. Of course, we've just referenced Jules Koundé, who has agreed to join Chelsea a while ago. If Zuma gets sold to West Ham and that is completed for €30 million, you can, in the coming hours, let alone days, you can imagine Jules Koundé to Chelsea will be completed between Chelsea and Sevilla. Chelsea will probably pay the money needed to Sevilla, or the demanded fee, and of course we know Jules would love to join Chelsea and has already agreed personal terms. But amongst all of this, Chelsea are thinking of a new midfielder, of course. Something Thomas Tuchel has been speaking about in press conferences. Yes, he did reference Trevor Chalobah maybe stepping into the midfield. He spoke about how he's been talking about this very subject with his coaches, but he doesn't want to confuse Chalobah so much at the moment because it's such a specialist role in Chelsea's midfield. Of course, Chalobah did play in midfield in Ligue 1 last season, but Thomas Tuchel referenced this as well and said, yes, that would be a very different midfield role, playing perhaps to protect transitions or make interceptions or release transitions rather than control the game in possession like Chelsea Football Club do and try and impose themselves, or how they try and impose themselves towards the opposition. Do you see what I mean? It's a completely different and perhaps more difficult role. Not to say Trevor Chalobah can't do it, but perhaps it's not something that you just drop in so easily. Maybe that's a similar situation with Reece James, who of course can play midfield. Might be a similar situation with Trevor Chalobah. But Eduardo Camavinga is still on the market, supposedly, reportedly, and it's previously been reported before that Tuchel is a fan of Camavinga. Check out this tweet from Fabrizio Romano. There are chances for Eduardo Camavinga to leave Run in the final 8 days of the transfer market. He'll not sign a new long-term deal with Run, so they are open to sell Camavinga for €35 million fee. It all depends on the offers in the next few days. It's an open race. What's that, around £25 million maybe, thereabouts, for an elite young midfielder who's going for a relatively good price because he's not signing a new deal at his club and he's got 2 years left. Obviously next summer he'll be down to 12 months on his deal and he'll be, the club won't be able to get anywhere near the same value for him. Now this isn't a direct link to Chelsea. Of course the player has been linked to Chelsea before in the media over the recent months. This isn't a fresh direct link from Fabrizio Romano, but I'm putting it together because you've got Thomas Tuchel admitting yes, they might need a midfielder now, especially with the defence looking like it's going to sort itself out, and of course Lukaku sorted out the top end of the pitch. Really, we can't just rely on 3 elite players for 2 spots. You need 4. Camavinga could be that 4th. I think there's a chance Chelsea could still sign a midfielder in this transfer window, as other journalists are reporting. And why not Eduardo Camavinga? This is a player that Thomas Tuchel would be very, very aware of indeed. And if indeed behind the scenes Thomas Tuchel's saying, yeah, this guy suits my plans, this guy suits how I want to play football, then I'll be interested. I understand loads of people are talking about, yeah, but Billy Gilmour, why bring in Camavinga when you've got Billy Gilmour? And I understand that, and I kind of feel the same, but at the same time, there's some people that reckon Thomas Tuchel would have actually liked to have kept Billy Gilmour this season for rotational minutes, but understands why he went to go and get, loads of minutes, starting minutes at Norwich. So we can all understand that, basically. That doesn't solve the problem of right now Chelsea may be trying to challenge for a Premier League title, even though they're undercooked in the midfield. So maybe Eduardo Camavinga could be an option. I still think there's a chance Chelsea buy a midfielder this transfer window in the coming days, which is sensational and exciting news. But anyway, friends, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Let's open up a discussion on these players that I've spoken about. Let's talk about the transfer window generally while it's still open and upon us. Do go consider checking out OneFootball by clicking the link down in the description. It only takes a second, and while I'm on the housework, I'd remind you to please do drop a like on the video. I never try and put like targets on the videos, but maybe I should, because apparently it helps me in the algorithm. So I'd urge you all to drop a like and consider subscribing if you're new. But that's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.